In this video, we're going to go over the subconscious reprogramming tier list. We're going to see what tool or modality works the best for reprogramming your subconscious mind and what completely sucks. Now, before I get into the different modalities, and I've got a few of them here, why would you want to reprogram your subconscious mind in the first place? The reason you want to reprogram your subconscious mind is so that you can stop behaving and acting like the person you want to be automatically without much willpower. This makes you get the results you want. You know, we have the subconscious part of our brain, which is the automatic part. When you're driving long distance, you can get from A to B without realizing what's going on because you've put the program of driving in your subconscious mind. So when you put the programs of success in your subconscious mind, you do everything you need to do effortlessly without much work. So let's go over the tools here. Here are the classes. We have pure trash. Doesn't work, means it's garbage. Meh, it can work sometimes, but a lot of times it doesn't work. Good, this is a good tool you can add to your toolbox. Very effective. Everybody should be doing this, and God tier is it's incredibly effective. So let's start off with affirmations, which is one that you've probably heard of before. Affirmations are the words you say to yourself. You know, when you say, I am wealthy, I am rich, I am fit, I am healthy, they usually start in I am. You can say them out loud, you can say them into a mirror, you can say them in your mind. These here are good. And the reason I put them in the good category is a lot of times they work for certain people and they don't work for other people. Some people are not consistent enough with them. Some people, this particular modality of sound, of saying things is just not very believable to them. So there's mixed messages when it comes to affirmations. You know, one of the best books that talks about affirmations is Think and Grow Rich if you want to learn more about that. The next one is astral projection, right? And this one is a bit out there. Astral projection is when you project your consciousness out of your body. This is an occult practice. Many people don't even believe that this is true or this exists or this real, but if you go into occult practices, you'll find that. And, you know, there's this whole thing about seeing astral entities and that type of stuff. So this here is, number one, incredibly difficult to do for most people unless you're part of some sort of occult school. So I'm going to put it as pure trash because you're not going to likely succeed in astral projection. It takes a lot of effort and practice, and you don't really control what you're going to encounter over there. So for most people, they're not even going to believe that that's real. So it's pure trash. The next one here is inner child work. So inner child work, I'm going to put as inner child is the aspect of your psyche that is stuck in the childhood years. So this could be 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, all the way up to like 7 or 8 or 10. And a lot of our beliefs are formed during those early stages of life. I believe there's a quote, might be from Aristotle or someone, that said, give me a child at 7 and I will show you the man. So when you do inner child work, you heal a lot of the traumas, a lot of the hurts that you suffered as a child, which are silently running your life. So this is a very, very effective way of reprogramming your subconscious mind, creating a relationship with your inner child, that small version of yourself, and your outer world is gonna change drastically. Trust me on that one. Okay, next one here is meditation. Meditation, I'm going to put in the good section because meditation is meant mainly to kind of rest in that state of awareness. You have Vipassana meditation, which focuses on the breath and mindfulness. You also have things like transcendental meditation, which focus on a mantra, which focus the mind on a particular, phrase or word. Both these things are great for building up focus, building up awareness. They're not necessarily the best for reprogramming your subconscious mind because you're not meant to be thinking about things. When you meditate, you're meant to be analyzing the thoughts. But when meditation comes in, the whole process is it can bring up certain beliefs that you might have, certain erroneous ideas, which you can then work on with other modalities. That's why I put meditation as good. It's an effective supplementary tool for reprogramming your subconscious mind. But sitting there in meditation by itself is unlikely to resolve a lot of your issues. Next up, we have psychedelics. I'm putting psychedelics in the pure trash column. A lot of people have gotten some benefits from doing things such as ayahuasca, LSD or mushrooms or that type of stuff. But what I have seen is that you're either going to get really good results or you're going to be traumatized and probably kind of never be the same person again. There's lots of nightmare examples on YouTube of people that did too much psychedelics, quote unquote, Conor Murphy is a big YouTuber who basically lost his mind from...
While I'm doing this, I'm creating the intention, I love you, and projecting it onto the urine. So the urine is forming these cool little ice crystals.
Doing too much ayahuasca. So this is it's not the best way to reprogram your subconscious mind, because just like the astral projection, a lot of factors are not in your control. You don't know what you're going to encounter when you have a trip. You don't know if it's going to change you forever in the positive or the negative. There's just too much that's not in your control for this to be an effective tool. This is like instead of driving to the shops, you're taking like a rocket to the shops, right? You get that quicker, but you might explode on the way. So psychedelics are in the pure trash column, and a lot of people are not gonna like that, but you know, it is what it is. That's just what I've seen. This is my opinion. The next one here we have is, and scripting is also gonna be in the good section. So scripting is when you have a journal and you write down your perfect day, or you write as if something's already happened, right? So it's kind of like a different way of manifesting or reprogramming your mind. This is more of a manifestation tool. It's not necessarily a great reprogramming tool because a lot of people won't believe the stuff that they're writing down. Just like affirmations, you're writing down, you know, I did this, or I accomplished this, or this thing happened today. A part of your brain a lot of times still is gonna have trouble digesting that. So if the conscious mind is blocking the subconscious mind, the critical faculty, it's going to be hard for you to install those new beliefs and actually get the results you want. That's why it's in the good section. Next up, we have past life regression. So I'm putting past life regression in the meh section because, once again, this is something that's not really in your control. With past life regression, you go to hypnotists, they put you under in a trance, and supposedly you experience your past lives. And sometimes you have those traumas from the past lives that are affecting you in your current life. So when you understand those traumas, you can heal from that and reprogram your mind and have success in your current life. I put that in the mess section because, once again, you don't really know if what you're experiencing is a past life or is just some visualization, figment of your imagination, or has been suggested by the hypnotist. You don't really know. And the reason I say this is because almost every single person that has a past life, for some reason, they used to be the Buddha, or they used to be Jesus, or Julius Caesar. No one was ever just like a normal person or like a homeless person. So the past life regression is a little bit questionable. I'm not saying that's not true, but it's hard to know for sure if what you're experiencing is actually a reality or not. Next one is subliminals. So subliminals are in the good section. They're, once again, kind of like affirmations. Subliminals are audios that you listen to, but the subliminal messages that are in the audios are below the range of perception. So you can't really hear them. You're just listening to music, and those subliminal messages are in the background. That's in the good section. There have been examples of this being shown to work, and there's been examples of subliminals not being shown to work at all. I guess it really depends on the type of person you are, if your brain actually takes those things on board. So I'll put that in the good section. Next up here we have masterminds, and masterminds I'm going to put in the very effective section. Masterminds are great because a mastermind is when you group up or you meet up with people that are on the same frequency as you, that have the same journey as you. So in the realm of entrepreneurship, often you pay something like $20,000, $30,000 to attend a high-level mastermind of other entrepreneurs that are doing well in business. And the reason the price point is set so high is to create a barrier of entry. People that can't afford it don't go to the event. So every single person you run into is likely someone who's running a seven-figure business, someone who's done some deep work on themselves, someone who has higher self-esteem to invest such a large chunk of money in their business. Now, it doesn't just have to be a business mastermind, it could be anything, spirituality, meditation. The common thing is you're gonna have people thinking just like you. And the good thing about this is you'll meet people that are further along on the journey, and you'll get certain ideas that you might not have been able to get by yourself. So when you mastermind, those mirror neurons kick off in your mind, and you kind of kick in that aspect of competition, that aspect of emulating what you see, and you would take on a lot of the beliefs that the people in the mastermind have, and this can really accelerate your growth. So I put that as very effective. That's one of the principles in Think and Grow Rich, the mastermind. I think it's something that everybody should be involved in. Next up, we have taking action. So taking action, I'll put that as good, right? When you take action, you throw things at the wall. Sometimes things will stick. Problem with taking action, just for the sake of taking action, is unless you analyze those hidden subconscious beliefs, you're gonna find yourself repeating the same patterns over and over and over again. So it's a very costly way of learning things. I believe it was Charlie Munger who said something along the lines of, it's better to learn from the mistakes of others than to do them yourself. So when you are constantly taking action, you're not really learning from the mistakes of others. You're just kind of hoping for the best and thinking that something will change. So matter of fact, I'm actually gonna put taking action in the meh category. Let's change that up a little bit. You can take as much action as you want until you check out those hidden programs. You're likely gonna keep repeating the same loop over and over again. Next up, we have vision board. So vision board, once again, is good. It's in the same boat as affirmations and subliminals and scripting. It's like vision board is when you create a board with images of things that you want, things that you want to experience. Maybe you want to go to Egypt and you have the pyramids there, or you want a Lamborghini, or you want a romantic partner. You put it on your vision board, so when you see the things on the vision boards, it kind of reminds you of your goals. So that's in the good section, because a lot of people have these amazing things on the vision boards, but once again, it doesn't seem real to them. It still seems like something that's distant, something that's... But it can work for some people if you're a very visual person. Seeing the reminders over and over again can help reprogram your subconscious mind in terms of aligning it to go in that direction. But this is more of a manifestation tool than a reprogramming tool. Okay, this is going to trigger a lot of people. Therapy, I'm going to put in the meh section. I'm putting therapy, traditional therapy, in the meh section because it's incredibly slow for most people. It has quite a low success rate, and sometimes the incentives of the therapist and the client are misaligned. You know, when you study psychology, it's not about giving your clients solutions. It's about them arriving at those solutions by themselves. And if someone has a lot of faulty ideas in the subconscious mind, a lot of traumas, there's a low chance they're going to uncover all this stuff by themselves. So what ends up happening is people become addicted to the idea of therapy, of going to see the therapist. They maybe befriend the therapist. They see them as a parent figure. They create a fantasy bond around the therapist. They don't resolve their issues, and they go for 20 years and are still in the same position or get a little bit better. Sometimes it can work. It really depends on the person. If you have mental illness, it probably is good to see a therapist, but a good therapist, maybe a holistic therapist. But in terms of reprogramming your subconscious mind, it's one of those. Yeah, so that's a hot take, but I think therapy is in the meh. Next up, we have shadow work. So shadow work is in the very effective section. So shadow work is something that was really popularized by Carl Jung. The whole aspect of shadow work is based around us having a shadow side. We have this part of our psyche that we repress, that we hide, detach ourselves from. And a lot of times it's this shadow side that we need to unlock, that we need to face and integrate into our overall psyche for us to become evolved and more advanced and have a better life. So if you want to learn more about the shadow and shadow work, check out my video on Mike Tyson's dark side here. This is a very effective way of dealing with a lot of your issues, of reprogramming a lot of your beliefs that are silently running you because you refuse to look at them. So shadow work is very effective. It's just something that requires a lot of work, a lot of intention and exercises on your side, and can be quite painful. Now we have repetition, which is simply just doing something over and over and over again. Repetition, I'm going to put in, if you just do something over and over and over and over and over again, your subconscious mind will automatically reprogram. Let's say you're afraid of public speaking, right? You're afraid of public speaking, but you are forced to do a lot of public speaking due to your job or due to whatever reason. It's just forced on you. It then becomes a form of exposure therapy. If you do it over and over and over again, you'll become good at public speaking, or your fear of public speaking will eventually go away. This is just how things work. The subconscious mind is reprogrammed from repetition. The more you repeat, the quicker your subconscious mind will start installing those things. It's kind of like the Pavlovian association. You know, you want to do the thing over and over and over again until it becomes automatic. This is how we learn everything. This is just almost like a law of nature. So that's why repetition is right at the top, right? You could be the dumbest person in the world, but if you just do something over and over again, you will get good at it. If you're doing it, you know, at a decent level, of course, not just at the same level. You need to be working on getting better as well. Dedicated practice, as Malcolm Gladwell talks about, in outliers, not just pure repetition. So repetition is great. It's in the God tier. All right, let's put prayer. Prayer, I'm putting in very effective. Prayer is, you know, when you appeal to a higher willpower. And the reason this isn't very effective and not God tier is it really depends on your relationship with this concept of a higher power. If you don't believe in God, you don't believe in a creator or architect of the universe, then prayer probably isn't going to work. But if you have that belief already, prayer is incredibly effective. And a lot of atheists like to scoff at prayer, like, oh, this is just garbage. But there's been actually a bunch of scientific studies where they've analyzed the effect of prayer in things such as healing. And it turns out that people who are prayed for tend to heal a lot better than people who are not prayed for, right? There's a lot of this weird kind of parapsychological phenomena that happens that most people don't understand, that most people think is a fiction, but is actually a fact. So look into it. Prayer is incredibly effective, especially if you already have that belief on your side. Now, the key to prayer is to pray as if it's already happened, to pray with gratitude, not to pray in the sense of begging, of wanting, of being desperate. That doesn't really work for the most part. So masters of prayer pray as if, and they pray from an aspect of gratitude. Next up, we have reading. Now, reading I find to be quite good. This was actually God tier for me. I reprogrammed a lot of my subconscious beliefs just from purely reading, but it depends on the person. Some people read books and it just goes over their head, or they read books with a skeptical kind of viewpoint, and they don't take on the beliefs from the books. So reading is good because the way that your mind works is you take on beliefs from authority figures around you, your parents, the society, the government, all that type of stuff programs you. So when you read, you consciously choose whose ideas you want to be instilled in you. So you want to be tougher, maybe reading Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, or Seneca on a regular basis will start rewiring your mind to see things from a different perspective, to have a lot of that stoicism in your life. But once again, you need to be someone who's more open to receiving ideas. If you're closed off, going through the motions, and it's not gonna help you. Visualization is really good, but it's once again in the same boat as affirmations. You can visualize and see yourself achieving something, but if you don't believe that visualization, then that's not going to work for you. And a lot of athletes have used visualization effectively, from Eddie Hall doing the 500 kg deadlift, Roger Bannister breaking the 4-minute mile. They all visualize and see themselves achieving the thing in their mind before it happens. So that's in the good sections. It can be very effective depending on how you do it, but the next stage from visualization, which is actually in the God tier, is SATS. So this is a idea. SATS is an abbreviation of state akin to sleep, right? And never got to popularize that, but it's been around for ages. But when you're in a state akin to sleep, you're in this hypnagogic state right before bed. And when you're in that state and then you do the visualization, but instead of visualizing, seeing things outside, you live it, you see it as if you're there, you go from seeing it to being it. What happens next is magical, especially if you do this consistently. If you assume the wish fulfilled, as Neville Goddard talks about, you see yourself doing something that basically tells you that you've accomplished your goal. Let's say you want to sign a huge business deal. You see yourself shaking the client's hand, or you see yourself receiving the wire transfer in your bank. You do this before sleep. You see it over and over again. This is incredibly effective for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's spooky at creating success, at reprogramming your subconscious mind, at achieving the things you want to achieve. And I believe it works because it changes you from just a passive observer to being in it, bringing that identity level shift that's needed for the subconscious mind to be reprogrammed. Temporarily live in that state every single night. And if you do it enough, you will start becoming it. Now, the next thing that's quite similar to SATS is acting as if. This is good. The reason it's not more effective is it requires a lot of willpower. When you act as if, basically become an actor, if you act as if you're a wealthy entrepreneur, you spend without really worrying too much. You walk around with a pep in your step. You kind of model the success you want and bring it into your own life. The problem with this is it's incredibly draining for your willpower. You will likely stop, but some people can do it really well. I was watching an interview where Conor McGregor was talking about how before he got his first Rolex, he would wear a fake Rolex. And this was because he was acting as if. He couldn't afford a real Rolex, he had a fake one. It would remind him every single day when he looked at it that, he was successful, he was doing well. Eventually, he did end up getting a real Rolex. Next one, hypnosis. Hypnosis can be effective. It also can be not effective. So I'm going to put that in the Good section, hypnosis, is when you go under, kind of similar to past life regression, but this is not taking you into a past life. It's dealing with some sort of problem you have currently. And the reason this is in the good section and not the very effective is because it depends on the hypnotist. If you have a hypnotist that does a good job, then this can be very effective. If you have a hypnotist that doesn't know what they're doing, they can actually take advantage of you and implant false memories. So that's why it's in the good section. NLP is very effective. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, was really popularized by Richard Bandler and I can't remember the name of the other guy. But those two ended up being the actual teachers of Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins, most of his work is based on NLP. That's the modality. NLP is really effective because it gives you lots of tools to shape how you see the world, from changing how a message is conveyed to your mind through altering the pitch, altering the way someone looks, all these cool mental tools to shift your perception and in turn reprogram your subconscious mind. NLP is very effective, especially for people that are visual learners, people that are like to touch. It does well because it works through the different modalities, visual, touching, feeling, all that type of stuff. So NLP is very effective. And lucid dreaming is one of my favorites. Lucid dreaming is, I'm going to put it in the meh section. Lucid dreaming is great, but a lot of people can't even get lucid. So that's why it's going in the meh section. If you learn how to get lucid, this can be a very powerful tool, but not everybody knows how to get lucid. Now, a lucid dream, I'm getting ahead of myself here, is when you wake up in your dream. So typically when you're in a dream, you're kind of like a zombie or an NPC getting swayed left and right. It's like you're watching a movie. When you become lucid in a dream, you realize you're dreaming, and all of a sudden the dream takes on a whole new texture, a whole new layer. It becomes real, kind of like the real world. And when you're in this lucid dream state, you can start doing things like flying or moving things. It's all based on your will. And there's a lot of great books on lucid dreaming that you can check out. I'll put some of them. I believe Lucid Dreaming Guide or Into the Inner World or something like that is one of my favorites. I've been doing lucid dreaming for many, many years and teaching people how to do it, but most people don't have the consistency or the patience to do it well. So that's why it's in the mess section. Anyway, those are my results right there. We have the God tier, which has inner child work, repetition, and SATs. Very, very effective tools for reprogramming your subconscious mind. Effective tools are Mastermind, Shadow Work, Prayer, NLP. They work great and everybody should be doing them. Good tools that most people typically hear about but can either work or not are affirmations, meditation, scripting, subliminals, vision board, reading, visualization, acting as if, hypnosis. The funny thing is these are things you've probably heard of when you talk about subconscious reprogramming. But these are good tools. They're not usually the best. Now, when you get into the realm of past life regression, taking action, therapy, and lucid dreaming, this can be meh because it's not going to work for most people, in my opinion. And then pure trash for most people, which I do not recommend, is astral projection or psychedelics, because this could really mess up your mind and do more harm than good if you don't know what you're doing. All truths about half-truths. These can be really good depending on your case. So take everything with a grain of salt. This is just my guide for the average person. Anyway, if you like this type of stuff and you want to learn more about reprogramming your subconscious mind, make sure to check out my free book, Thriving. I have lots of cool guides and tools for many of these things that we talk about here. In that book, it's 100 pages of free value. So you got to check that out. I'll be seeing you next time.